Hello and welcome to another episode of Ball of Passion. We are back. The Premier League season is back, and we start with Nottingham Forest. I mean, how are you two doing? Let's get into this first game week of the Premier League season.
No, hilarious part because the viewers want to know. I'm just outing us. We fully have recorded, just post a big
Straight
2 hour
after.
prediction session. So if we're lacking a little bit of energy, that is why we're coming back with you with another preview. But yeah, no, I am excited for this one. I think it'll actually be a really fun game. I think Nottingham Forest Turner is going to come in time, like he's going to get registered, so that's going to be fun. I wonder whether or not he starts. He won't, but in general, I think that Forest is going to be a pretty easy game, and I think that we're going to be able to see some unique starting 11s. I'm really interested to see whether or not this theory of maybe kind of Declan Rice and Thomas Partey for the big games, and then another midfield for the smaller games, quote end quote, is something that's true, because I think this is the perfect game for it if that's your logic. I personally don't think so. I think that we're going to keep, Declan Rice and Thomas Partey playing. But I think others believe that, we're able to kind of go with just one anchor. But I feel like Mikel will allow us to kind of play the same 11 that we played against City. I don't think he's going to change things too much. The one thing I'm going to be interested in is kind of Eddie versus Kai Havertz. I mean, we can have a quick discussion about that, because I think that not choosing Eddie basically seals his career. Like, I don't know why Eddie would stay if he's not able to get in ahead of an injured Jesus against a team like Nottingham Forest at home. And of course, there's going to be opposition for both. And I would argue that, Nottingham Forest in general, they play a 3-5-2. So I think irony, if I had my choice, I think Trossard would be my starting number 9, because I think that in facing a low block, you need to have somebody that's cute in tight spaces and able to wriggle out of trouble. So for me, that's kind of somebody that I would be looking towards as a profile, at least. And I think he'll be really important in terms of dropping in as a +1 kind of in midfield to kind of even out that kind of central compactness issue that we might find with a Forest that are going to sit deep and try to hit us on the counter. Of course, Morgan Gibbs-White, somebody that, Chris really likes, is probably their biggest danger man.
Do you not like him?
No, I like him. I just don't think he's phenomenal. Like, I think he's just an okay talent. I
I
don't
think
think that
he's
he's elite.
nice.
Um, so
That's a joke, by the way. For anyone who takes that seriously.
Clip it.
Yeah, clip it. Chris thinks he's elite and world class.
And George doesn't think Odegaard is a good player. Clip it.
But no, I actually think that this debate, I don't know about you guys, but the debate between the strikers is going to be interesting. Like, for me, again, I would choose more of a Jesus analog and Trossard to lead the line. But again, I think what he chooses in terms of, if he doesn't choose Eddie Nketiah, does that seal his career at Arsenal? Like, I mean, what is he staying
Pretty
for if
much.
he doesn't?
Pretty much, because that's 2 straight games without Jesus that he doesn't play striker, to a new signing that a lot of people say is guaranteed to play. But
Yeah.
how does he move someone when it's two completely different defensive, the opposite ends of the spectrum in the league? A very defensive, non-progressive back three in Nottingham Forest versus a back two in City. If he can't play against either of them, what does it mean for him? Maybe he stays, and Arteta's told him you have to fight for your place. I don't believe he stays. I think he can go start at another Premier League club. So why would he stay here and be third choice? Because he's already fought his way from being third choice. And then, overall, I'm feeling good in the game, I think. We have a very good chance. We did batter them 5-0 last time. We played them at the Emirates, but at their stadium, we didn't have that much joy. They aren't a good away team. They don't score goals away from home. And it might be a front two of Brennan and Morgan Gibbs-White. And if we see that, I think we batter them. Like, I think they can't score with that front two. But yeah, I think this might be the best opposition we could have wished for the first game of the season, just to into things, get some happiness, get some confidence at the start of the season.
All right, so let's do some quick fire questions then. So you guys, George is a Trossard up front, so there's 3 real options. So we have the same Havertz option, Trossard or Eddie. Chris, who do you think is going to start?
Who do I think, or who would I start?
Who do you think?
Havertz.
George?
Yeah, I think Havertz will start. Yeah.
And the midfield, 3 or 4?
Partey, Odegaard, and
Rice.
Declan Rice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Same.
So I agree. Havertz will start at 9. I do think that he is. We both, well, all three of us know about Mikel not changing something that works.
A winning
If
formula.
it works, he won't change it. My only thing is, will he try maybe to rest Rice to try and let him get that bit more fitness back in his legs? He's playing at 75% apparently right now. Would it be something, maybe a second half performance, or maybe he takes him off at 60?
I don't think
No,
rest
it's
has
an
much.
Emirates. It's an Emirates debut, and I think that against a Forest team who aren't a transition focused
Yeah, it's
squad,
not
like you're
City
not going to
again.
be
He
running.
won't have to be the third man in
Yeah,
the press for 50 minutes.
ironically, it'll actually be good for him. Like I think it'll be a good recovery. Not to dismiss kind of Forest like that. I think it'll actually be a good thing. It'll actually
don't
make
think
It'll
it's
allow him to be in positions that he'll succeed at.
I don't think it's
think
even to
he
dismiss Forest. I just think
he needs to be in those 6 roles a bit more. And I think against City, he was, as George mentioned, the backup in the press in that sort of 10 role. So it'll allow him to be in a more traditional role that we want him to succeed in. So I think
yeah, for
I
me, I
agree
think
with both of you.
this game he shouldn't be rested, because the nature of the game doesn't mean he'll be in the front three pressing or tracking back anywhere near as much. He just will be on the ball more. Because 60, 65, 70% possession game. And for me, that's more productive than him sitting on the bench watching that. Like you'll get more confidence in the ball, more used to being in certain positions within the team. Just seeing what the players do versus a team below them, because he's not seen us in a competitive game.
No.
Apart from against the best of the best. Like, what positions do the players take up?
And this is the other thing in terms of
Forest
sorry, Chris. The other thing is, he's got to get used to playing in a ball dominant team as well. Like if you think about it, he's played at West Ham for so long, in terms of not having to do
even
a
England
lot of
don't
possession
dominate the
words.
ball against the good teams.
Yeah, this is the thing. So for me, the more he's going to have to get used to games like this. This is his bread and butter. It's got to be his bread and butter. So for me, he has to play. I was just asking because I think there's a question there regarding the fitness, etc. Then the other question is left back. Zinchenko back, Timber back.
No, Zinchenko's not back. No, he might be a return to training, but he's nowhere near fit, in my opinion. So I think it's like a cast iron choice of Yuri and Timber coming in. And again, I don't think that we see really a difference in the starting lineup that we faced with City, personally. The only thing is, I think that Martinelli is a question mark about how fit he might be, but I still would start him. And if we're doing that, I'm just worried about Eddie Nketiah and what he thinks. Like, I think the decision-making process, because Eddie looked good too when he came on in his cameo for City as well, right? So I think that the decision to play Eddie Nketiah or not is going to be a big defining factor in his career with us moving forward, because I actually think he may not suit this in profile, but I think the fact that he didn't choose Eddie said a lot. And I would argue that, choosing Eddie for City made more sense than choosing Eddie for Forest if you're looking on a pure tactical level, right?
Yeah.
Like the space for us to run into, it doesn't suit an Eddie. But I think not choosing him has the effect of you basically saying, I don't trust you. Or why would you stay, assuming that you're not going to be getting the games? Because again, Jesus is out. Like, you would, in theory, think that you would get games between now and the end of the end.
If Trossard is picked and neither of them play, do you think that's even more detrimental to the potential of Eddie staying, or do you think it's just tactical? Or do you think Arteta can sell him?
I think both.
That's just tactical.
I think he'll try and sell it as tactical, but Eddie will. You know what Eddie's like.
I mean, the slight would be more on City. You know what I mean? Like, you can kind of accept it being tactical for this game, but the fact that, City, you didn't get trusted to do that. And look, I'll be honest with you. If I was, Eddie Nketiah, and I knew now that I've got 2 different players that have now come in before me, that's even more of a slight, ironically, than even just the tactical.
That's what I was saying. Is it more detrimental? Because if I was, being personally, regardless, even if I played this, if I was Eddie, I was leaving. Because the competition is just too much. Like, will there be not maybe we're not the type of club, but say Havertz just doesn't play, will that cause problems if he doesn't play striker and he trusts the pivot like consistently, not just next game? Because if I think if Havertz is on the bench for
The
the
thing is,
next,
there's not a lot of
it
game
would
time
affect
for
it.
him to. There's not a lot of game
That's what
time
I'm
between
saying.
now
Like,
and the end of the window.
even when
Forget
Jesus is
the
back, it's
actual.
not an issue.
Yeah, but forget the actual. Just the whole season. From now to the end of the end of the season, there's not to the end of the transfer window. It's not like he's going to have to make that decision quickly. If he's going to want to stay around or wait for January.
I mean, look,
And-
now is the time, right? Like you're looking at it. You're not going to make that decision when your starting number 9 is fit and healthy. I mean, now that he's
No.
injured, you're looking at the sample for how many times you're going to be trusted. And actually, he hasn't, right? And I think that we'll have 3 games before he can make that decision. And
Yeah.
we're running out of times. And so Forest at home is ironically the easiest because I think if we were looking towards the fixtures that we've got coming up, right, guys? Like if you look at it, Forest is probably the easiest game to fit an Eddie Nketiah. After that, we've got Palace, Palace away, which is a tough game, and then we've got Fulham and another London derby at home. So I mean, I think those are tough games, and I think if I'm looking at it, Nottingham Forest is the easiest of these 3 games. And so if I'm Eddie Nketiah and I'm like, if I'm not getting in on the easiest fixture here, then when do I get in? That's going to be a question to me. So. And I'll also pose the question to you guys. Like, again, the reason I kept saying that Eddie could be a surprise sale and why I wouldn't push for it, but I can see it, is between Havertz and Trossard, do we really need an Eddie Nketiah in terms of his profile? Like, is he different enough to Havertz playing the 9 role? That
Yeah, that's what I've always thought that he's gonna go one.
But the
The
thing is,
money
we
would be
always
great for
debated
us.
whether it would be
The
this
money
season
would
or
be great.
next.
Sorry, the money would be great for us. I don't think we'd
Mhm.
100% be opposed to it. And having the options that we do have, and Jesus pretty much always going to have an injury in a season. Like there will always be like a month or 2 where someone else has to play. If the start of that month is against the biggest game we will have of the month, the Community Shield probably, and you don't play, like he's gonna go. And I think Arteta bringing in Havertz for 65 mil. Sometimes he's called him a midfielder, but sometimes he also refer to him as a forward. It's weird. So when you refer to him as a forward, he's not going to play out wide. So when you hear that, he's going to play striker. So I've always thought there's a chance. Like I've always agreed there's a chance that him and Balogun go. It doesn't fit. Like even when we did the bench, like when I asked the question on what is the bench for next season, having Eddie or Havertz off the bench like just adds more. And you can't keep leaving these types of players. They're too good to stay at home. Like I think Havertz or Eddie is too good to go to a Champions League quarterfinal or a game versus Liverpool and be at home watching and recording if they're not injured. That's why I thought there's a chance he goes.
The other thing I was saying was the only debate was whether it'd be this season or the next. Initially, I thought it would be the next, but Havertz coming in, it gives you that extra option in terms of a makeshift 9, and the opportunities are kind of closing in. And with Havertz coming in, it does indicate that in the future, I mean, me and George, all 3 of us have said this. In the future, it indicates the current favorite, the big man 9 coming in. So it looks like all my things are coming right, which is fun. The other thing, yeah, shake your head.
It's not though.
It is. It's
It's
all
not.
coming up current. All coming up current, people. All
You
coming
wanted
up
the
current.
diamond.
So
We played 6 games, no diamond. So
we played diamond last game. What are you talking about?
For 10 minutes.
For 10 minutes, exactly.
This man for 10 minutes, everything's coming right.
and if we
all
didn't
coming
go
up
on,
current, okay.
So shameless, and especially since you changed, it's so shameless.
I never changed.
You did
I admit
change.
I did not change. I did
What?
not change.
What?
No.
honesty is the best policy. We don't lie on this channel.
we can all say what did I always say? I say I always prefer the 3-4-3, but in the Premier League.
But something
in the
else is
Premier
better.
League,
Something else is better.
in the Premier League, it would
Something
work.
else is better.
A
Right?
pivot, a 4-2-3-1 would work in the Premier League. That's what I said.
No.
This guy is
So that means
lying.
that is better, right? That's a better choice, right?
Look, we are
Hello,
making a
hello.
20-minute preview. Okay, relax, both of you. The Look,
You just
the other
avoided
thing
that
we're going to
being
talk about. No, we have to
politician.
talk about the game. Okay, we're
You
just talk
avoid that
about the
like a
game.
politician, by the way.
Yeah. So look, this new Nottingham Forest game, we have to talk about where is their threats. We know Morgan Gibbs White is going to be a threat. Brennan Johnson, my guy Anthony Elanga will be hopefully playing. I
On the
like
bench.
him a
He'll
lot.
be on the bench.
Yeah, he will probably be on the bench. Not gonna lie to you, but that's my guy. Thing is, right? They've lost Freuler, haven't they? Who have they brought in that is, of note in terms of midfield wise?
Matt Turner, Anthony Elanga, Ola Aina, and Chris Wood is coming from Newcastle officially. So that's
Well, I mean, I
really
think they're just going to stick with their same 3-5-2, and they might have Morgan Gibbs White with Chris Wood, maybe. But in general, I think that Morgan Gibbs White is going to be the main guy that we're going to look for. And I think even last year, I think the one thing that you want to look for is transitions, like hitting into the channels quick. Because if you let Arsenal settle, then I don't think they have an opportunity to kind of break us down ever. So I would just look for quick switches, and it's why I'll just transition to like my score line. I think it's going to be a really fun day at the office, and I think that Declan Rice is going to have a really easy debut. And I think
he scores.
Declan could do. I don't.
He's going to do some silly celebration, knowing
could
him.
do. I don't think so. I actually think it's going to be Havertz, Saka, Martinelli, and as you can tell, I've only named 3 scorers, so I'm going 3-0 personally.
Oh, you could have guessed a brace or something. But
yeah, exactly. How about that, George?
Sorry,
you could have guessed someone scoring 2 goals.
Yeah,
by naming 3.
Yeah,
someone scores 2
Oh,
goals.
you think you say Saka? No, you just say Saka. But yeah, 3-0.
Chris?
Not mine. Yeah, I think our setup will be good. I think 70th minute they're bringing on Elanga, go 3-4-3. We see a bit offensive, and then I don't see us conceding though. I just think we're too good to concede. So 4-0. I switch from 5-1 to 4-0.
Which is funny because I had 4.
If anyone knows behind the scenes, by the way, before Karen says, isn't it? You guys always laugh at me for changing our team and whatever. Karen said maybe 7 different predictions.
Yeah, I did actually. But
then
then what happened in the end? This guy changes.
Just knowing it's a new season,
on
guys.
camera, he changes.
It's a new season, guys. It's a new season. New season.
It's a new season, and you're still indecisive. But yeah, we move. I'm also going to stick to my guns. I'm going to go with 4-0. I think
that's not your guns.
That is my guns. That's what I said. I settled on 4-0.
Let's not focus on guns. We're getting a little bit silly. So you've gone both 4-0. Do you guys have any idea on scores?
Saka, Havertz, Martinelli, and I'm going to go Declan. Why not?
Saka 2, Havertz, Rice. Bottom right. He scores a long shot.
You just said Havertz wouldn't score. What's happening with you?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did.
I said Martinelli won't score.
Was it Martinelli? Okay, fine.
Yeah, I don't think he starts the season well. I think he'll get chances and miss. You up Saka's shot.
Actually, you know what? I'm gonna take a leaf out of Chris's book from last season. I'm gonna go Saka, Trossard, Havertz, and Rice.
Wow, Trossard off the bench.
I
predicted that a lot. To be fair, you're right.
Well, guys, listen, we hope you enjoyed the preview. We're going to be back with you guys for another review kind of after the game, kind of more towards Monday around that time. But, make sure that you guys hit the bell for notifications to know when, in fact, we do upload. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. Of course, you can find all the boys' socials down below. Of course, I'm George V_AFC, Chris at CKFTBL, and Curran at Curran BoP, and we are Ballo for Passion on YouTube. We're at BoP Footy on the Twitter. So, guys, thank you so much. We appreciate you guys. And let us know in the comments if you guys think that, what your predictions are. And we'll catch you guys on the review. Peace.
Peace.